Hey YouTube, it's Chris from Team R4S and Team Universe X. Look, I'm just here from the comfort of my own bed after work. You know, it's been a couple days since Black came out, and so I just want to go over some cards real quick in a spot where you guys can just lazily look at all the videos at one time. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe because I need them subs up. I just want this not to be a waste of time. So, thank you in advance. But Um, set 4, Black gave us a lot of stuff. Like everybody on the Facebook group said that Black would blow you away. When does it not? No, but really though, really there's a lot of cool stuff in here, so I just want to get into it because I'll probably talk about these cards a little more than some of the other colors that weren't exactly as unique. First, Demigra Leader. When this card attacks the leader card, place 3 cards from the top of your deck into the drop area. If all the cards are placed in your drop area are black, draw 1 card. Then, when you're at 4 life or less, you can untap 2 of your energy, you know, standard, untap, awaken. Now, the thing about this is, first and foremost, normally black was a supplementing color. Even in like Mass Sand, you'd run half and half at best of black and the other color likely being red. Demigra is the first leader that's trying to promote you to actually run fully black, which is actually pretty freaking cool. So, moving on to the other side, Wormhole. You can activate Overwhelm and Dark Overwhelm up to a total of 2 times a turn, which is amazing. Like, it's pretty cool. That is actually pretty cool. Auto, when this card attacks, draw 1 card, and once per turn, choose up to 3 black cards in your warp and place them into your drop area. Now, this is trying to combat something that we've seen from the Overwhelm leaders, and that is the fact that their deck only has a certain amount of longevity. You have to keep milling to keep fueling your overwhelm, and this and the next leader, as you'll see, work on putting things from your warp back to your graveyard so that you don't have to keep taking off the top of your deck to further these plays. You can simply just combo 1 or 2 cards and also, you know, bring 2 cards you've already warped back. That's pretty excellent. The Wormhole ability is pretty cool. The fact that they made Wormhole a keyword makes me feel like there's other leaders that are going to have it, or maybe there's going to be maybe a card that comes out and goes, hey, your leader has a Wormhole until the end of turn, or something like that. That would be really cool. But as it stands right now, the weird kind of part is that Demigra, as a black only leader, doesn't necessarily have a lot of self-mill. I was trying to test it around between this and the Mira, actually, and I found that 2 overwhelm a turn, unless they're both 3s, overwhelm 3s, maybe pushing it 4s, it's actually a little harder to get off 2 overwhelms in a turn. Like, you're not going to foo and mass sand somebody. That's 12 cards in graveyard, and you burned a lot of stuff to go through there, whether it be from hand, off the top of your deck, things like that. But we'll see how it turns out. Black is definitely going to shake this meta up a little bit. Mira, I've got things for this boy. I actually really like him. Once per turn, activate main. Choose 1 card in your life and add it to your hand. This card gains 5,000 power for the duration of the turn, then place the top 3 cards from your deck into the drop area. When you're at 4 life or less, you may choose up to 2 of your energy, untap them, flip this card over. First off, first self-awakening black leader. Excellent. Black power. Second, it mills 3. So just getting this guy's effect, doing it 4 times, you are going to get 4 more cards in your hand, provided they're not hitting you with crit or something like that, but you're going to put 12 cards in the graveyard, which is an excellent starting space because the flip side, just like the first one, is going to have an activate main that, you know, doesn't send you back to the top of the page. It's going to have an activate main that puts 3 cards from your warp back into your drop area. Excellent. So he's going to set you up with 12 cards, and he's going to have an ability on his other side that, you know, allows you to put cards back. But yes, when this card attacks, draw a card, activate main once per turn, choose 3 cards in your warp, place them in your drop area. This card gains plus 5,000 power for the duration of the turn. Excellent. Moving on, Burst Energy SS Bardock. Overwhelm 4, 1 mana to do it, 1 energy, sorry. When you play this card using Overwhelm, it gains 10,000 power for the duration of the turn. It can attack battle cards in active mode. Okay, I mean, it can attack battle cards in active mode. We've already had those. You know, it's cool that he goes up to 30,000 and he can attack active mode cards. It's just that, yeah, it's okay. But something that you guys should know is that its character, if I'm not mistaken, is Bardock. Character trait Bardock Xeno. This means that this dude is a target for the SR, blow up the whole field on triple strike Xeno and put 5 cards back in your race. So it's cool that they're giving more of him because we had a really, really, really bad amount of them that existed before. Dimension Support Trunks. Overrealm 3. Costs 1 though. He's actually a mini form of a Killer Sword Trunks. You play him. When you play this card using Overrealm, choose up to 1 skillless battle card with an energy cost of 2 or less from your deck and play it. Then shuffle your deck. It gains critical for the duration of the turn. That's kind of niche. Most people don't like playing skillless cards. Vanillas are kind of a waste of mana, but maybe this changes. Maybe they'll make more effects like this, and you can flood your board with vanillas. I already know they were trying to kind of do that in Universe 6 for TOP, giving all the 1-drops extra strength, but it is what it is. Maybe this becomes an archetype that we see later, but at the moment I think it's cute that you could Overrealm 3 and pay 1, pull a 1 cost, it gains critical, but then Killer Trunks and pull a 3 from the Warp. It's 5 mana, it's a 5 mana investment, and that is a lot, but at the same time, that's cute. Moving forward, Time's Choice Supreme Kai of Time. Overrealm 3. Then you have play this card. Yeah, when you play this card using Overrealm, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 battle card amongst them, add them to your hand. Add it to your hand, place the other remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in the order. It's a different Time Patrol Chunks. It looks 1 card deeper, but it doesn't set up the same way, and it also only takes battle cards. So you trade reach for how specific the card you grab can be. Moving forward, we've all talked about Time Patrol Corona. She is the Shugesh Destroyer. It was needed. I think anybody that's been looking at the coverage this weekend for ARG Atlantic City saw that out of 8 feature matches in day 1, I think 6 of them were Ginyu green, red, yellow mirrors. And it's insane. Shugesh is dominating the format because, this game is supposed to work off of energy, but when you're just dropping sands from your hand with a card once you're at half your life or less, you no longer function off of energy. You function off of Shugesh. And that becomes a big problem. And it doesn't matter how you cut it. Some people are like, well, there's only 4 super combos. Well, congratulations. Planet Vegeta searches them out. Power Overseeing Shugesh, aka Power Overseeing Time Trunks, can get Shugesh back from the warp and keep using it. There's lots of ways to keep extending and abusing Shugesh. You just have to simply see them, which doesn't always happen, but it happens most of the time. So this card needs to come out. But I know I've been talking about this card like you guys already know the effect. You guys probably should. If you've seen anything on the discussion groups, you've heard people bitching about them for the past month and a half or something like that. But Deflect, so this card is not affected by counterplays. No Bloodlust to stop this yellow wrecking effect. Auto, when you play this card, draw 1 card, and your opponent may not play battle cards from their hand with the skills of a card with super combo for the duration of the game. This is incredibly narrow, and it only affects Shugesh. Shugesh is the only super combo that puts cards from your hand into play. But, as you guys have seen, Shugesh needed to get hit. Moving on, this is one of my favorite cards in black, Dark Control Demon God Demigra. Dark Overrealm 4, and for you guys that are just hearing about this, Dark Overrealm is Overrealm, but you have to have a threshold of black cards. It's not having just 3 cards in graveyard. It's having 3 black cards or more in graveyard. So it's Dark Overrealm for 4 for 3 energy. So pay 3 energy. If you have 4 more black cards in your drop area, you can play this card by sending all the cards in your drop area to the warp. Auto, when this card attacks, your opponent chooses 1 card from their hand and sends it to their warp. If that card was a battle card, you combo with it in your combo area. Excellent. This card forces your opponent to be in an awkward space. If they don't want your attack going any higher than it is, they have to start removing extra cards. Whether that be, their Universe 7 representatives, whether that be a negate, whether that be a lust or a crush your ball. It's still crazy that you start pushing those out. And then after that, you have to start wasting their small pieces. It could be something as small as a Boo or Corona, or, it could be something as detrimental as, let's say, they have their boss card, their win condition, and a super combo in hand, and then an unbreakable. And they don't want to give the super combo. They don't want to give the boss card of the win con, so they give you an unbreakable. It's not going to happen often because people will always choose the best card for them. But if they're in a situation where they have to give you a good card, they're all good cards, it could potentially work out well. But it's allowing you to go in deeper with this Demigra card and not use cards from your hand. They're trying to make it so that you can serve more cards from your hand as well as more cards from your warp. And I think that's hot fire. Moving on, Heavenly Wizard Demigra. 2 cost. Auto, during your turn, when you combo with this card, if your opponent has 3 or less energy, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier with 3,000 or 30,000 or more power and KO it. That is pretty weird and pretty narrow. Most people are thinking, well, how are people going to have a card with 30,000 or more power and KO it? But one, this is a defensive card, okay? If you actually really want to look at Heavenly Wizard Demigra, this card is definitely it's an early game aggro deterrent. When somebody has these EX evolves or things that they're cheating out with Overrealm, and they're swinging with a 25k and they combo up to 30k or 35k, and it's like double strike critical, that may seem imposing, but this card is that defensive combo card. I don't know, on turn 2, play Mira from the Darkness, the crit one that gets Overrealm for 4. Swing with it. It's at 20k. They combo, Champa, 30k crit coming at your face. That actually doesn't apply because this thing says during your turn. Never mind. Erase all of that. This card is narrow AF. But at the same time, if somebody is going to do shenanigans with like Patara or EX Evolve or any just sort of weird things, I feel like this card, because I don't see exactly where it does right now unless you're playing Hirudegarn, because there are some cards in there that you can cheat out very quickly that have high attack. I don't see where this card is going, but I kind of like it because we can get 3-4 more sets in this game, and then there could randomly be a deck that turn 2 and 3 puts out a 30k attacker, and you're like, no, but then this card exists. You can put it in your side. You can just have it there as a deterrent, and I like that. Apologize for that long tangent. I had to reread the card like some people do, but just please at least give me the credit for reading the card, which is something that you can't get half of your opponents to do. I know. I go to locals, I go to tournaments, it kind of sucks. Moving past that, Invasive Power Mira. Overall 5, 1 cost, double strike. He's a Mira. We're going to move past that because that's not worth talking about. Dark Absorption Mira, a card that I believe does Union Absorb the correct way. Overwhelm 3, Union Absorb 4. Place 1 Tower from your warp under this card. You know you're going to be able to get a Toa under your warp easily. You place it on this card. If your leader card is an Android or a Toa, choose 1 Mira with an energy cost of 7 in your hand or warp and play it on top of this card in active mode. This is wonderful. We have a Toa that can search this Mira. It can also search the SR Mira, which I'm going to show you in my next video. And you are able to have it as a 1-drop, search your Miras, combo with it, defensively or offensively, warp it, and then just suck it from the warp for this Union Absorb. That is freaking phenomenal. No more sitting here like, well, shit, I drew my Union pieces. No, because you can get it from the warp or your hand. You can combo with the SR Mira to stop an attack, warp it next turn, using this, and then pay the mana, the energy to Union Absorb and play it from warp. I'm on this card's nuts. It's obvious, but I'm just going to put it out there just in case you didn't already know. Umbral Invitation Toa. If you like the Toa cards that just jack your opponent's shit, you got more, all right? Overwhelm, Dark Overwhelm 4, so it stays on the board. That's actually something I also need to point out. Dark Overwhelm stays on the board. It doesn't leave at the end of turn. So that actually makes a lot of cool little things happen because you start making black cards that utilize Overwhelm but just don't leave, and that's really good. But to do that, you have to play more black, and I think that's a neat little cost. Play more black, have black cards that don't just leave you when their job is done. Dark Overwhelm 4, you have to pay 1 energy. When you play this card, choose up to one of the battle cards in your opponent's battle area with an energy cost of 3 or less and gain control of it. That is excellent. 3 or less leaves a lot of room. You can take your opponent's Kabas, Cauliflas, just to stop their plays. You can take your opponent's BCC Goku or Gohan. You can take your opponent's copy BCC Bardock. Like, I mean, it's not BCC Bardock, but it's literally BCC Gohan with Bardock's color and look. You can take a lot of good things at 3 energy and just use them to your advantage. So it is what it is. I like it a lot. Dark Rejuvenator Toa. Overwhelm 3, pay 1 energy. When you play this card with Overwhelm, choose up to one of your battle cards with energy cost of 2 or less and switch to active mode. Meh, if you're trying to do this weird kind of rush down deck, I can get it because she'll come out and untap something. And I think that's pretty neat, but just seems kind of low on the power scale. We'll see. The format's going to shake up a lot, especially since people are going to have to start playing with mana again, energy again, whatever again. Gravy, Lightning's Might. Dark Overwhelm 2, he just comes out. So basically, you just play him for 2 mana, energy, whatever, and you play him onto the field by removing 2 black cards from your drop area, and he just stays there. He's a 20,000 vanilla. So, I mean, we've had 15k vanillas for 2, but this guy is literally a 20k vanilla for 2. So don't necessarily discount him. Gravy in Demigrowth Thrall. When you combo with this card, if your leader is black, choose up to 2 cards in your warp and place them in the drop area. This is neato. This is a cool card that allows you to change up the math of your overwhelm a little bit. You combo with them defensively, offensively, you actually add 3 cards to your drop area, and that's good too. Moving on. Frigid Blast Poutine. Dark Overwhelm 3. When you play this card, choose up to 1 Demigrowth with an energy cost of 4 or less in your deck, add it to your hand, shuffle your deck. Gucci. You can get that card I like so much. Moving on. Poutine and Demigrowth Thrall. Blocker. 1 drop. If you play this, when you play this card, if your leader is Demigrowth, place the top 2 up to the top 2 cards of your deck into your drop area. Controlled mill. It's good that Demigrowth has controlled mill because Demigrowth doesn't have a lot of. I don't feel like he has as much mill as he needs to somehow work double overwhelm. But again, these are just my initial looks. I could be very wrong. We'll see. Time Trauma Mass Sand. If you were not running Mira and don't have Self-Awakening, this guy is the cycle that's going around of a 3-drop Awakening black, or Awakening card for each color. Every color has gotten one. I believe green had, green and yellow did not have them, but green and yellow have no problems awakening, period. I mean, you've got Tien, New Gohan for green. For yellow, you've got no openings. You have one of the SRs I'm going to have in my next video. You have a lot. But red got Digging Deep Vegeta. Blue got Tapion, like Iron Oath Tapion or whatever, Iron Vow. And then black has Time Trauma Mass Sand. So it's the same thing. You play this card. If your leader card is black, you may choose up to 2 cards in your life, add them to your hand. If you chose to add 1 or more cards, you can choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, energy cost of 5 or less, send it to the warp. It's powerful. Dimension Banisher Fu, like this dude a lot. Overwhelm 5, costs 1 to play, so he's essentially at Mass Sand level, double strike, 20k attack, exactly the same as Mass Sand, except when you play this card with Overwhelm, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards and send it to the warp. Restrictionless. It doesn't have a cost, so this is a big card remover. This can actually get over one of those huge secret rares or just fat creatures. Toki, the Time Creator. Deflect, so you cannot Bloodlust him. Auto, when you play this card, you may place it on the bottom of, or place it on the top of your deck. If you do, choose up to 1 black battle card with 3,000 less power from your deck and play it. Shuffle your deck. It's narrow, but it specifically is bringing out Corona to stop your opponent from using Shugesh. So if Shugesh was your life's bane, you can run 4 of these and 4 Corona and never not see Corona turn 1 unless the RNG gods hate you. And if RNG is against your side, I'm sorry, you're not really making it far in this game because sometimes you do need his blessing to proceed. But it's very narrow. I hope they make new cards that work along with this because it only searches for 1 card. And that's narrow cards are not really fun cards half the time. Now we're back to these extra cards that work per leader. Seasoning Arrow works for Demigra. Activate battle. If your leader card is Demigra, it gains 10,000 power for the duration of the battle, and if it's your turn, your opponent then chooses 1 card from their hand and sends it to the warp. If that card is a battle card, combo with it in your combo area. Delish. It's flavorful. It fits what they were doing with the other Demigra cards, and it gets away from your opponent's hand. I like it a lot. But what I like more is actually Dark Kamehameha. If your leader is Mira, it gains 15,000 attack power for the duration of the battle, and if it's your turn, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, the energy cost of 4 or less, and send it to the warp. That's a removal, plus 15k. That's how you wreck a dude's board while you go in for a dude's face, and it's juicy. Lastly, minus kill zone. crazy card. Activate main, send 3 cards from your drop area to your warp. Draw 1 card, and then your opponent may not activate counter play skills for the duration of the turn. So that's insane. It's like you're looking at your opponent, you know they have Bloodlust in hand, you're like, wow, normally in the first 3 sets of this game, I would play 6 mana on this card, he would Bloodlust me, I would cry, I would want to quit this game, and I would feel disrespected. Well, no freaking more. You start off your turn by looking your opponent directly in the eye and saying, do you want this wreck? And whether they say yes or no, you play this 0 cost card, remove 3 cards from your warp, they can no longer crush your ball nor Bloodlust you, and then you go ahead and you sink 7 mana into a card you have wanted to play since set 2, obliterate your opponent, and nut thereafter. It's wonderful. Different avenues to play this game, and I'm going to actually have a video about the direction of this game, because I feel like Bandai is definitely trying to shift where the focus is and power in some of these cards. But that was all of Black. I'm going to have another video up in the same couple hours about the SRs. There's only a couple of them, much less to talk about. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and that's me signing out.